Hello guys, and welcome to a new episode here on my channel, The Post-Apocalyptic Inventor. And it's going to be another update video, and probably a rather unexcited one at that. And the reason for that is that I'm not feeling so good right now. I caught the cold and I'm probably a little feverish. And I actually wanted to present my finished retro sci-fi computer desk this weekend, but I just couldn't finish it because I didn't work at the workshop for the last 2 days or so because of the cold temperatures in the late afternoons. And so I just did a little bit of mucking around here in my apartment, and I figured that I might just show you a couple of things related to the computer desk. It's about CRTs and using CRTs for retro gaming, and I've spent some time with that over the last half year as well because I wanted to integrate these CRTs into this or maybe another piece of retro sci-fi furniture that I'm working on. So let me just show you what I'm talking about.
So first of all, let me give you a quick update on what actually happened this week in the workshop. Before I got sick, I tried to finish this desk, and I decided to work on these side panels now that, I had already installed the screens in the front panel, and these side panels, or shoulders as I called them before, are now basically composed of 6 or 7 different kind of irregularly shaped, nearly triangular pieces. I made all of these from wood, and I think that the shape that I'm going to get here, where these LED matrices will be installed, that I've shown you in a video a couple of months ago, will look really cool and sophisticated, but cutting all these irregular shapes and getting the angles just right so that all the edges would align was very hard and didn't help in getting this done any quicker. But I'm hopeful that I will have some major progress in the coming week, and then let's see what I can show you next weekend about this. This time I want to talk about these CRT televisions, and let me just show you some of the televisions that I have collected over the last half year, and some of them we can actually get running and do some retro gaming on them. So our first television here is a Philips Philetta Type X12 from around 1970 or thereabouts. It's a portable black and white television. Here, a brief look into its insides. I always open the enclosure before I turn these things on. Don't turn it on, take it apart. And just in order to see if there's anything brutally damaged inside. And in this case, that really wasn't the case at all. One thing that stands out here for you maybe is that you can see that this thing actually has a mains transformer, and many of the portable devices or portable televisions of that time actually had that. And this is portable in that it can be connected to a 12-volt power supply, for example, in your car, from your car battery. And it would be a television that people would take on trips, for example. Now, as I said, this is just black and white, but with the help of a RF modulator, I was actually able to connect this to my Raspberry Pi 2. And here you can see me navigating the desktop in Linux. And while the picture quality isn't that great, it's actually good enough to use the operating system. But I'm not quite sure if I really want to use this television in one of my pieces of furniture because it's actually too beautiful to be installed inside one of the panels. And here's another television, this time a really big one that I bought for just €1 from a guy living near Cologne. It's in working condition, and it's an ITT 3702 from around 1982, as far as I know, weighing plus minus maybe 40 kilograms. And let's again take a look inside. Looks horrific in here, right? And many of you, I think, have the idea that televisions, these old CRT televisions at least, are really ugly, but often that's really just the dust. So let's use the compressor and take care of that. And there you can see how beautiful these old televisions actually are, and I personally really like these ITT televisions. So many beautiful colors. And I think that this one, even though a little big maybe for my furniture project, would be really cool for a retro gaming arcade. But more about that in a later episode. The next television I scored was this ITT from 1979, again in working condition, paid only €5 for it, and I liked it so much that I decided to put that in my first computer desk design. And again, a lot of dust inside, took care of that, no bigger damage is found, and again, beautiful electronics. When I first connected the Raspberry Pi 2, I had some syncing issues, but I just readjusted that and had no problem since with this almost 40-year-old television. And the next two televisions are rather special, but there is not yet much I can tell you about them because I didn't really test them yet. This one was sold by the German company CRT as test equipment, basically, for adjusting antennas back in the day of terrestrial analog television. It's basically a Philips black and white portable television that can run on a 12-volt lead-acid battery, but that also has some additional meters inside in order to adjust your TV antenna just perfectly. This other television here was given to me by a local viewer. Thank you again for that. It's a Löwe brand television of the so-called 2001 line. It's from around 1970 as well, a black and white television. It does work, but at the moment I do not have any footage of that. And now let's get to the really odd stuff and actually do some retro gaming. Now I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this. This is an extremely flat CRT where the actual deflection coils are not sitting behind but under the screen. And this was sold by Conrad for some time. It's not a television, it's just a composite video input monitor or display. And I think it was used in conjunction with closed circuit television cameras for, I don't know, maybe like surveillance cameras that people would have in their apartments or in their door or something like that. I bought this for like €5 on eBay as a new part, and all I really had to do here was to connect two trim pots for brightness and contrast adjustment, and then all I need is a 12-volt power supply. And now I'm connecting this tiny mini arcade here that has 200 games inside and its own battery, and it just gives out composite video and analog audio over RCA connectors. And I'm turning on this little CRT monitor here, and now I can do, well, some retro gaming. Now, of course, the picture quality isn't great, but I think this could be really cool for a CRT Game Boy, especially because it's running on 12 volts, so this could be run on a battery just like the little mini arcade. And I think in the future I'll just put this in a really cool portable enclosure, and this will be a one-of-a-kind CRT handheld Game Boy thingy. And here is another really odd yet really cool device that I found a couple of months ago on eBay by chance. Here in Cologne I bought it for just €1. The National Rover TR505. It's another portable television, can be powered from 12 volts. It has even its own battery compartment for that. But on the back side it only has these really old-fashioned connectors for antennas because, well, it was made in 1974. Well, unless you are really knowledgeable about these old televisions, you probably don't know how to get any signal inside one of these. Well, here's another unit that I already opened, and I connected a more modern antenna cable to the pin that is normally used for external antennas, or was back in the day. And now you can use an RF modulator to inject the signal from a composite video source into these televisions. And as you can see, the picture quality is actually really good and much better than that of modern portable CRT televisions of the early 2000s or so. And in case you don't want to buy an RF generator, but you might know a lot about electronics, then you can just bypass the entire tuner of old televisions, and this is true in general. You just have to find the right pin at the video amplifier, and then you can just inject a composite signal in basically any old television directly. I've done that here, and you can see that the picture quality of that is okay. There are some issues still, because I think I probably just should disconnect the actual tuner or RF section of the television, but as you can see, there is a way to do that. So if you like these kind of weird ideas here, then give this video a like, because that would really encourage me to maybe build an arcade from that big television, or maybe turn 5 or so of these Rover televisions that I have already collected into mini arcades that I might then sell online or give them away to patrons or something like that. And talking about patrons, if you really like this, then please check out my Patreon under patreon.com/tpai and think about supporting this channel. See you soon, guys.